So we're going to be reviewing page 102. You should have already completed the worksheet and we're just going to go over the answers. Okay, appositive adjectives are new as far as diagramming, but we talked about them before. So after your subject, you may see in parentheses these two adjectives that further describe the subject. These are called appositive adjectives. And when we talked about them before, we talked about how you could remove this phrase and it still makes sense. If I remove smart and talented, I can read the sentence as my neighbor wrote an amazing song. This is a positive adjective. These two adjectives right here joined by a conjunction. So how do we diagram these? Well, we're going to start the way we always start. We're going to look for a subject first. So my neighbor, smart and talented, wrote an amazing song. So neighbor is subject. The verb is wrote. Okay, now I'm going to look around those words and see what else I have. Well, I see that my modifies neighbor. It is an adjective, a limiting adjective. I see, I should go back for a second. My neighbor wrote, what did my neighbor write? My neighbor wrote a song, which is my direct object. So we've done this before. We'll set up our diagram and write neighbor wrote. What did neighbor write? The direct object, song. Okay, now I should be looking for my adjectives. I skipped ahead a bit. So adjective for neighbor is my. Okay, adjective for song is to, and amazing. Two adjectives, and amazing. So they're going to come off of here and try and put them in order, and amazing. Now, I didn't give myself a whole lot of room because I have this appositive phrase. Now, usually your adjectives come before your nouns, but in this case, with appositives, they come afterwards. So neighbor, smart and talented. I really should have put it after my, but I'm going to extend this line just on this one and show you how it should look. Smart, talented. And how is it joined? Dotted line, always your conjunctions, and. Now, as I said, this really should go behind the my, but I didn't give myself enough room. So when you're doing these, make sure you extend your lines. The more complicated our diagramming gets, the further, the more space you're going to need. Okay? So let's look at number 2. Selma's burritos, hot and spicy, are delicious. So first, what is my subject? What is the sentence about? The sentence is really about the burritos. Okay? Burritos, what is my verb? Are. Okay, now you should have bells going off. A little bit of alarm there. As soon as I see a verb that is not an action verb, like wrote, I should be thinking predicate nominative or predicate adjective. So let's look at this. This is a linking verb. So are the burritos being renamed or are they being described? Well, in this case, we're describing the burritos as delicious. So I have a predicate adjective. Okay. How do I diagram this? Well, we've done these before. Okay. So burritos. So we have burritos as the subject, my linking verb are, and because it's a predicate adjective, remember the line goes this way. The burritos are delicious. Okay, now I need to go back and see what these other words are. Well, burritos are being modified by Selma. This is a limiting adjective. So we're going to put that over here. And then we see this appositive, hot and spicy. So again, hot, spicy, and it should be connected with and. And again, I didn't give myself enough room, so make sure you do that. Don't do it the way I did it. It should look a little better than that, okay? So appositive adjectives, that's all we're doing is we're putting those adjectives that come after the noun, modifying the noun underneath it. Okay, next section 4.3 is review. It says draw one line under the verb or verb phrase in each sentence. Draw 2 lines under the direct object and write the indirect object on the line. Okay? I bought the boy a lollipop. Okay? The verb is bought. So underline the verb. I bought what? I bought lollipop. Direct object. And to whom did I buy the lollipop? The boy, which is my indirect object. He passed her the salt. Verb is passed. He passed what? He passed salt. He passed the salt to whom? He passed the salt to her. She handed me the report. Handed is my verb. Handed what? Handed report. Sue handed the report to whom? She handed it to me. Greg bought his son a ball. Greg bought. Bought is my verb. Bought what? Bought a ball. And for whom did he buy the ball? For son. Stacy gave him the receipt. Stacy gave is my verb. Gave what? Gave receipt. She gave receipt to whom? To him. Okay, that should be a nice and easy review. Okay, last section that you had for homework was 3.9, how to correct run-on sentences. Well, this is super easy. I'm just going to tell you how we did it, and then you can do it on your own. You can rewrite a run-on sentence as a compound sentence by putting a comma and a conjunction. Janet reads a book and she listens to the radio. Okay, so any kind of junction, and, or, but, nor, something like that. The comma comes after the first clause, before the conjunction. Okay, the other way we talked about fixing a run-on sentence is simply making them into 2 separate sentences. Janet reads a book, period. She listens to the radio, period. Okay, and that's it for 102. Okay, we're going to be going over pages 103 and 104, which was homework for the weekend. You should remember from our study of adverbs a while ago that adverbs modify other words. Usually they modify verbs, but not always. Adverbs tell how, when, where, how often, and to what extent. And you'll probably remember when we did this before, we looked at the sentence, Kristen cooked dinner. And then how did she cook dinner? Kristen quickly cooked dinner. Remember, quickly being the adverb. Adverbs also answer when. Kristen cooked dinner earlier. Kristen cooked dinner here. Where? How often does she cook dinner? Kristen cooked dinner once. And remember Tyler's favorite? To what extent did she cook dinner? Kristen almost cooked dinner. So all these words are adverbs. Remember too that adverbs are not found, adverbs are often found in the verb phrase. Words such as not, never, hardly, scarcely, barely, and always are often in the middle of verb phrases, but they're not part of the verb phrase. They're actually adverbs, okay? So keeping that in mind, we're going to start diagramming the way we always do. Let's read the sentence. The eager boy was working quickly, okay? Immediately we see that our sentence is about the subject boy. The eager boy was working. There's my verb phrase. Okay, so we can start diagramming the way we usually do. Boy was working. Now we can look for adverbs, and we have one. How was he working? He was working quickly. So it's an adverb. Okay, and it's going to come right off of our verb phrase, quickly. Now we see we have words modifying boy. There are 2. These are adjectives. The and eager. Okay, so that's number 1. Now let's look at this one. Yesterday, Connor and Oscar walked here. Okay, Well, what I like to do is I like to take this this word at the beginning of the sentence and just add it to the end. You see that comma there, which allows us to move it around. So Connor and Oscar walked here yesterday. Okay, and that just makes it a little easier to deal with it. So immediately I have two subjects, Connor and Oscar. So we're going to write it the way we always do, Connor, Oscar, joined by a dotted line or conjunction and. Connor and Oscar, verb, walked. Okay. And then we need to look for adverbs. Well, we have two. He walked here. He walked where? Okay, here. And then another adverb we have is telling when did he walk. He walked yesterday. So this is what this sentence should look like diagrammed. Okay. Number 3, my reliable mother drives carefully. The sentence is about my mother. She's the subject. The verb is drives. Mother drives. Okay. Look for any adverbs. How does she drive? She drives carefully. Okay. And then we have two words modifying mother. They're adjectives, my and reliable. Okay, let's look at this long sentence we have here. The clumsy boy accidentally dropped the new beautiful vase. Okay, so what's the sentence? Who or what is the sentence about? It's about the boy. And what is the verb? Dropped. The boy dropped what? Well, in this case, we have a direct object. Dropped vase. Okay, so let's start right there because we know how to do this. Boy dropped. And because it's a direct object, the line's going to go straight up. Vase. Okay, now let's look. We have words that modify boy. Which words modify boy? Two adjectives. The and clumsy. Okay, what modifies vase? 3 adjectives. The, new, and beautiful. The, new, beautiful. And then we have one word left. Accidentally. This modifies our verb. How did he drop it? He accidentally dropped it. Okay, so there's a long one for that, number 4. Number 5, the curious girl quietly asked a serious question. So I know my subject is girl. The verb is asked. And she asked what? She asked direct object question. So girl asked, our line for direct object, straight up, question. Okay, so which words modify girl? The and curious. Which words modify question? A and serious. And then we have one word left, quietly. Quietly modifies how the question was asked. So it goes under our verb because it's an adverb. Okay, so that's 103. So we have 2 more we're going to do on 104, the rest of which was review. Okay, you should already know how to do those on your own. So let's diagram. The child walked away wearily. So who or what is the subject of the sentence? Child. Our verb is walked. Okay, and it doesn't look like we have a direct object, predicate nominative, or a predicate adjective. So let's just diagram child and walked. Okay, which words modify child? The and tired. Okay, now we have 2 more words, away and wearily. These words modify our verb walked. How did he walk? He walked wearily. Where did he walk? He walked away. So away and wearily go underneath. All right, last one. I have not heard that song. So obviously my subject is I. Now here's the confusing part. What is our verb? Well, we have a helping verb, have, and we have our actual action verb, heard. But there's a word in between, not. Remember, not is not part of a verb phrase. It's an adverb, okay? I have heard that song. So let's diagram this. I is the subject. Can't put not in the verb phrase, so the verb phrase is have heard. And then it looks like we have a direct object. I have heard what? I have heard song. Now, nothing modifies I, so let's look at song. Anything modifying song? Yes, we have an adjective in front of it, that, which is a limiting adjective. Okay? And then we have one other word to deal with, which is our not. And not in the verb phrase is actually an adverb. Okay? So that's 103 and 104.